and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what can gather. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall, it's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watch it gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall, it's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. Colossal, we come, these renegades in the ring, where the lost get found, every crown of the circus king. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. It's blinding, outshining anything that you know. Just surrender, cause you're coming and you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, intoxicating you. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. It's everything you ever want, it's everything you ever need, and it's here right in front of you. This is where you wanna be. It's everything you ever want, it's everything you ever need, and it's here right in front of you. This is where you wanna be.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Yeah, yeah. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Overture, curtain lights, this is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every part by heart. Overture, curtain lights, this is it. We'll hit the heights, and oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it. Tonight, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Good morning all, and welcome. It's great to welcome everybody to the 2023 Annual Conference of Independent Cinemas Australia. I'm going to begin by acknowledging the traditional country of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, and we acknowledge their elders past and present. I'd like to welcome all of our members and our guests here, and also our online audience. Special welcome to our conference sponsors, and Adrian will officially welcome them in a few minutes. Speaking of Adrian, our CEO for 11 and a half years, all those amazing achievements, still with us as our special advisor, and most importantly, she is our conference convener. So she's once again done an amazing job organising these next 3 great days. So please join me straight away in thanking Adrian. Thank you. This year's conference is jam-packed right up until Thursday. Just about all our distribution friends, large and small, are here. And soon we're going to hear from Peter Drinkwater from the Screen Audience Research Australia, or SARA as we know it. And on Thursday, we hear from Rory Elkington from the Queensland University of Technology. 2 presentations based on data and research and how to apply it to our cinemas and our businesses. And they are very much the bookends to this conference. Tomorrow, we hear from Cameron Mitchell, the Executive Director of NACO, sharing his thoughts after returning from managing cinemas in the Middle East and the lessons that we can learn from what happened there. Also tomorrow, Damien Keogh, the CEO of Hoyts, will be with us. Damien's been in the press quite a bit lately talking about the Australian movie industry and also about regional cinema in this country. And also tomorrow morning, we have Phil Clapp joining us for the first time. He's the Chief Executive of the UK Cinema Association, and he's also the President of UNIC, which is the international association based in Europe. And as well as that, Bill Campbell, he is the Chair of the Independent Cinemas Alliance. They pinched our name, I keep telling them that, and that's the grouping of independent exhibitors in the USA. That's just a few of the amazing things that we have. Look, we've done our best to target this conference at the things that we need to do to make our cinemas work in the mid-20s, so we can also understand what we need to do to make them shine when we absolutely need them to, which is right now. But you still need something to show that people want to come and see. We can't forget that. The past few years have been rough. The roughest I can remember, and survival has involved actions that we had never heard of before. Most of us have clung on somehow by the skin of our teeth, but not everyone. Our long-standing friends and part of the ICA family from Grand Cinemas in Perth are here with us today. I'm sure we can only imagine the journey that you folks have had. I think we are reminded of our own mortality, and I know I speak on behalf of everyone in ICA when I wish you all the very best, and most of all say thank you. Thank you for your amazing support and advocacy over the years for our industry and for ICA itself and the values we represent. 97 years. I'm actually going to ask the Grand guys to stand up if that's okay. Like I said, 97 years, and on behalf of ICA and on the industry, thank you. I got back from CinemaCon last Sunday, and I'm going to say this, I'd much rather be in our business over the next few years than in the streaming business. Professor Jeffrey Cole, Director of the Centre of the Digital Future at the University of Southern California. He's an expert in the field of technology and emerging media. He serves as an advisor to governments and companies all around the world on their digital strategies. His forte is analysing the effects of technological change on industries. In the early 2000s, he famously told the music industry that their model was broken and that people would no longer be going to music stores and paying $40 for an album CD, which they only really wanted to listen to 3 songs on anyway. Obviously, he turned out to be right there. This year, the good professor has released his analysis of the streaming industry. In a sentence, he's found that the current landscape is not sustainable. Surprise, surprise. There are currently 8 major streamers in North America, and his calculations come down to the fact that there's only room for 2.5. Now, some of these players, you may be aware, are losing up to $1 billion a year. That's billion with a burr. He reinforced the obvious view, this won't surprise us either, that spending hundreds of millions of dollars on producing blockbusters totally funded by streaming subscriptions isn't viable, and disastrously so. Look, I think Warner Brothers had the steepest learning curve of this in 2020. They've done a 180, and 2 weeks ago, David Zaslav again made a total commitment to the theatrical release model, as did all of the major studios. The professor also lauded the clear evidence that having a strong theatrical release window with a reasonable window to PVOD and then SVOD makes a movie absolutely within the best chance of making a profit and giving the best return on investment. Wall Street has already seen this, and they have spoken. 2 companies, Apple TV and Amazon Studios, have each announced $1 billion for production of theatrical movies this coming year. All of the major studios confirm their commitment to the theatrical release window. That's really important and great to hear, obviously. We're not going back to the 53-week window of the 1990s, but the important thing is that it's an acknowledgement that a window adds value to the product. And that's a key point in our future. Now, let's just quickly, if you don't mind, let's look at these 2.5 viable streaming services. I don't know how the 0.5 is going to work, but I think we can assume here that Netflix will be 1.0 of the 2.5. And I think that Netflix have almost earned a few grams of respect from us. And I think that is because they unashamedly focus on what they do. They want to be the top dog of streaming, and I think that's what they're going to do. On the occasions when they have crossed into the theatrical path, it's been purely about raising their own profile. They make no bones about that. A few years back, they became involved in the Oscar. They weren't trying to lift the status of the Oscar. They were trying to raise awareness of their own product. Last year, when they acquired Glass Onion, they gave it a very limited theatrical release. Head office set extremely low caps on the screen counts in every territory. Head office capped the number of screens in the US to 300. Now think about this. If their goal was a successful theatrical release, they would have put it on 3,000. It wasn't. It was about raising the profile of that title, and specifically of their service. And those low caps on screen numbers caused, one thing I found from talking to people at CinemaCon, is they caused extreme frustration on every continent except Antarctica. Of course, times haven't been fantastic for us of late. Early in the pandemic, Australia's recovery was way ahead of the US, but I think things have at least evened up, if not gone a little bit the other way lately. Of more concern is the shift in the balance between the major and independent cinemas in Australia. There's no single issue, but first, let me introduce you to Scotty's first law of tents. It goes like this. I think the movie industry is like a tent. We have the tent poles, the big shows, Marvel, DC, Top Gun, Avatar. We have those major tent poles. And the canvas that goes in between the tent poles to make the tent is those $5 to $10 million titles. They're the ones that go in between the tent poles, and when you have the poles and you have the canvas, then you have a tent. Neither of them can stand up by themselves. And the thing is that many of those $5 to $10 million titles are the ones which specifically index in independent cinemas and with our audiences, and that's one of the reasons I think that's been noticed. Internationally, it has been noted that the 50-plus years demographic group have been slow to return to cinemas, and the assumption was that it's some remnant of COVID reluctance. But Jane Hastings of Event Cinemas told CinemaCon they had interacted with the seniors in their loyalty club, and that wasn't the case at all. They were happy to come out. They were happy to come and see Top Gun, happy to see Mrs. Harris, and so on. The issue is that they don't see movie titles big enough for them to get out of the house and come back to our cinemas. That's what they said in Australia. That's what they said in New Zealand. In the late teens, streaming titles began to vacuum up writers and directors and actors and technicians and post-production. Although this isn't necessarily, we're hoping, the case going forward. As the sheer number of titles being produced and purchased by streamers, the number of titles they have on their page eases, I think we can hope to see more investment in these mid-range titles by studios like Apple TV and Amazon and STX and many others. And hopefully we can see a stabilisation in that supply and over the next year or so. It's not going to happen straight away, but I think we are going to see it. One of the challenges is to find titles to fill this shortfall right now. Now, you're going to see some amazing titles for the Northern Hemisphere summer this week, but we need these mid-range titles as well. As I said, the canvas between the poles. 2 weekends ago at the Hollywood Bowl, there was a tribute concert to celebrate Willie Nelson's 90th birthday. If I'm doing a concert at the Hollywood Bowl when I'm 90, well, hey, that's going to be pretty amazing. Actually, probably be pretty awful, but anyway. Willie was on stage with 43 other artists. Emmylou Harris, Keith Richards, Sheryl Crow, Neil Young, the list goes on and on. And through our buying group, we have access to the recording of this concert to screen for 1 week from Saturday the 10th of June. Now, it targets the audience of many of our member cinemas, and hopefully this will be the first of many to come from this source of program. And it is exclusive to ICA members, and so we'll talk about it in detail at the members session on Thursday. A big change this year has been with the ICA buying group. The activities that we have entered into include a deal with the procurement provider Foodbuy. This is a groundbreaking change on how cinemas do that part of our business. It means that little players like me can potentially purchase with the buying power of organisations several times larger than Event or Hoyts. It's not a fixed formula, as there are a lot of issues that happen in the rollout, but some of the early adopters are seeing savings in the region of 20% in their purchases. This creates a problem for me. If I were to save up to 20% on all of my candy bar and cleaning and all these other purchases, what am I going to do with the money? Do I put it in my super fund? Do I drop the cinema prices? No. Or do I change the way I staff the cinema, or do I use it to improve the experience of my customers and how I achieve that? It isn't an issue that I've had to deal with before. At International Day last year at CinemaCon, Jeff Chard of Village Cinemas Australia reported that putting candy bar items into their online platform had led to an instant overall uptick in sales of 20%. This year at International Day, one of the multi-country software groups reported that in the 11 countries they were in, it was between 20 and 35% uptick. And that's beyond that, just by putting candy bar online. Now, I discussed this with my daughter Kim, who's managing the cinema at the moment. She thinks she's the boss, but anyway. And I'm getting a bit old for change. How do we implement this? Do we partly pre-prepare the people's orders as they come in trays so we can put them together and hand them to them? Are these people going to expect to get served first? I mean, then again, they've already made up their mind and they've paid for it and they've made up their mind. We all know those people at the counter. So do we have our own part of the counter to collect from? How are we going to do that? So if we are selling 20% more candy bar and paying 20% less for the products, how am I going to cope with a change like that? But of course, remember, we still need movies on our screens in order to get people in the door. Then, however, I realised I am looking at this from the wrong angle. This is a generation of people who don't have to talk to people to get their stuff. They log into Menulog and pay $8.50 to have their cheeseburger, small chips and a Coke delivered to the door. They don't jump in the car and go down to the drive-thru, let alone get out and go and order it off one of the kiosks inside Macca's. Heaven forbid they talk to a kid behind the counter, because there aren't many kids behind the counter these days. So I do wonder, is there anyone in our society who can still make a cheese toastie? I mean, really. But don't go for the mistake of thinking this is just teenagers, because it's not. I was talking to a Menulog driver and he was saying it's people, it's 20s, it's 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, even seniors are discovering this. But you see, it's what these people want in order to feel comfortable when they come to my cinema and I assume to yours. To continue to be successful, I have to change. I have to respond to this change in the consumer demand. Of course, they can still buy things across the counter if they want, but we need to respond to this change in customer expectation if we want to continue into the rest of this decade. And it means those online purchases, actually you may come and talk to us instead of walking straight into the cinema and completely bypassing us and the candy bar. So I think that's the change we need to look at. I need to change. I'm going to give another example at the drive-in. During COVID, we went to all online ticketing. That's the only way to buy things because of contact tracing. We stayed that way because we're now in the middle of suburbia, and so instead of having people come up to the ticket box, then try their second and third ATM card, then sit there while they transfer money over. I'm sure you've all had that at your ticket boxes too, so they have enough money to buy their ticket. Meanwhile, of course, the cars are lined back half a kilometre back across the intersection, and the neighbours are getting angry. So that's what we did. We stayed on that. All we do, we just scan their barcodes as they come in. We don't have to wait for them to do all that kind of nonsense. That left us with a wet restaurant. And this is where I really went outside my comfort zone. We did the same, completely. Restaurant at the drive-in is now online only. There's no cash, no FPOS. It was scary. They scan the QR code we give them at the gate. They decide what they want, all the charges, all the costs, we add on to the customer, they happily pay them. Only one person has ever complained in the 18 months we've done it. And they put their order in, they get their two texts. The first one says, "We have your order, stay in your car, don't come and annoy us." Not quite those words. The other one says, "Your order's ready, come and get your stuff." The customer gets to stay in the car with their family and they get to put the order in all together. And they watch the movie, and only one person in the car leaves the car for just 2 minutes to come in and get their food. That's instead of standing in line for 20 minutes or more, and I'm sure you know this, they then wait till they get right to the counter. "Can I help you?" Then they start to think of what they want. I'm sure we've all had this. All of that's gone. And I don't have to pay staff to stand there and take these orders. So $8,000 in armed hold-up insurance, $3,000 in FPOS terminal hire, plus the credit charges. But the customer experience is greatly improved, and that's where we have to concentrate when we're looking at making changes on what the customer experience will be. Now, mind you, I should mention that as a result of this change, the spend per car has gone up 80%. That's 80. But of course, that's not important, is it? At our last conference, I spoke about customer expectations. The concept that luxury class only belonged in capital cities just isn't valid anymore. Expectations of people in regional Australia are not significantly different to those in cities. A school teacher in Gunnedah probably has more disposable income than one in North Sydney. A harvester operator in Dalby could have a higher disposable income than a lawyer in Melbourne. Thanks to the internet and the COVID period, we can no longer assume that regional people demand anything less than their city counterparts. The ICA team is working hard to ensure those of us whose cinemas risk becoming dinosaurs have the opportunity to move forward and stay relevant. Look around you. We are in this beautiful 1930s styles architect building, but when you go downstairs and walk in the door, you're walking into 2020. And the team here, Ben and the team here, are looking to making this a 2025 experience when you walk in. And it's about making that balance. That's the hard part that every one of us has to make an individual decision about. And that's why we're looking at opportunities for modern seating and the food and beverage options and how to package it, how to get the gear together, how to put the training together so that we can put those in and give that to people in our customers, and they can get what they as a market are now demanding. When I was younger, we went out to dinner and a movie. So you'd spend about 2 hours at the restaurant and 2 hours at the movie. Today, people are so time conscious that they want to do them both at the same time. And that is the opportunity for us as cinemas. But we still need movies on the screen that people want to watch. The material we saw at CinemaCon makes me pretty optimistic, especially for the next few months. But we still have a way to go back to that supply consistency that we used to have back in 2017, 2018. I also think that COVID and then the streaming games have been a great leveller. I can't remember seeing distribution and exhibition having the level of respect for each other and each other's needs that we have at the moment in all the time I've been in business. There's still a few outliers on both sides, of course, but at the end of the day, movies need screens and screens need movies, and that is the common ground. Big changes at ICA too. Our latest challenge has been finding a new CEO to take us on the next chapter. I'm sure everyone's hanging out for the announcement of the new CEO, which will take place after the Disney presentation on Thursday. The board, come on, what were you supposed to do? I had the board all queued up to heckle me then. Anyway, look, ICA's chose, yes, you forgot, I think it was something to do about David and what happened in the bar here last night. Look, ICA has always been able to choose the best CEO for that time. Our first CEO, Mark Sarfati, took the reins when ICA needed to find its voice, and Mark did just that. His words, "We're punching above our weight," were heard at many a board meeting as awareness of ICA emerged among exhibitors and distributors alike. Mark was the right CEO for that time. After Mark left us, Kieran stepped in, and he stepped in the acting role. At that stage, the big thing was independence needed a VPF. And Kieran, with his financial services insight, pulled out of the hat a scheme where members got a discount by paying their knock fees in advance. And we had $250,000 in the bank in 4 days. Brilliant. And that's the point. Kieran was the right CEO for that time. Adrienne joined us with her media legal background, and that was when those complex VPF contracts needed to be completed. And then, of course, she brought us the My Cinema platform, the revival of our buying group activities, the enormous weight of the COVID responses, communicating the state-by-state COVID restrictions and changes, and battling for us the ability to stay open, to actually reopen in many cases, but also that battle for the Screen Fund, and more recently, and that was a huge battle, but more recently, our new arrangement with the procurement provider Foodbuy, and that will change the face of our businesses. You see, Adrienne was the right person for that time. Now, we come to 2023, and our quest to find the right person for this time. The brief was pretty simple. All we needed was someone capable of being the CEO of a small business, of a small not-for-profit organisation, who understands the cinema industry, is capable of engaging with distribution partners, major and independent. Someone who has the experience that industry voluntary code of conducts will be good, and even on the administration committees for them as well. Someone who has skills and contact to bring new sources of titles to our screen from streamers, studios and all new places. Someone who's operated a small business themselves and has felt those pressures that we all feel. And someone who has a focus on the bottom line and getting the best deal for us, the members, possible. But importantly, this is we need someone who had the drive and the courage to knock on entirely new doors of government and corporate and media and the doors of places we haven't even thought of yet. Most of all, we needed someone who had persistence and a vision for ICA's future. Easy brief, right? In summary, we were ultimately looking for a leader who has passion for the film and exhibition industry, someone who will be a strong voice for independent cinema sector, and someone who has experience and the capability to develop successful strategies to guide our members to greater success. Now, it's likely that you will find the identity of the new CEO somewhat a surprise. Jaw-dropping, it could even be. But if you stop, spend a few seconds and think, I think you will realise, as we have, and you will agree, that we have chosen the best person to be the CEO of ICA now in 2023. The new CEO of Independent Cinemas Australia is Brett Rosengarten. Brett, come on down. It's now official.
Not a chance in hell I'm wearing those.
It's too late to change your mind, mate.
It's too late to change my mind, but I'd never ever signed up to wearing those ears. I'll leave them here for you, Adrian. They're all yours. Thank you so much, Scott, and to the entire board of ICA for putting your trust and faith in me to steer ICA into the future. For those of you that know me, you'll know that I'm immensely passionate about our industry, and I'm honoured to have accepted the role to advocate on behalf of you, the ICA members, going forward. I've worked in film for 28 years, both as a major and independent distributor, and I've also run my own small business outside of the industry and understand how every business decision you make every day impacts the amount of food that you put on your table at the end of that day. I've always put my heart and soul into everything that I do, and while I acknowledge that has been on the other side of the fence in the past, I commit today that I'll bring that same passion and enthusiasm into representing you, the ICA members, going forward. The only disappointment I have as I stand here today in Adelaide is I won't have the opportunity of working with a board that includes the great Bob Parr, or as I used to call him, Sir Robert of Parr. He was a giant of our industry, an incredible advocate for independent exhibition, and I know we all miss him every day. On a separate note, it would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to say how much the industry will miss the great Styles family. My friendship and relationship with them goes back to the days of Arthur and Mrs. Bouquet, as we called her. For those of you that have seen the show Keeping Up Appearances, that was definitely Reen. Chubby has been a great mate for many years. And to Colin, Chubby and families, I wish you all a very, very happy and successful future. And to Toddy, it's fantastic that you found a role in the business. I look forward to working with you as friends and colleagues for many, many years into the future. Over the next couple of months, I'm going to do my very best to meet with each and every one of you to understand what your issues are day to day and what ICA can do to help make your businesses the most successful they possibly can be. Lastly, to Adrian, thank you for your support over the last few days and week or so, and your promise of being the end of the phone over the next month or two, as I'm sure I'm going to need it. As I introduce Adrian now to get the conference started, to everybody, have a wonderful conference, and I look forward to catching up with you over the next few days.
Congratulations, Brett. And thank you, everyone. As you know, Brett is both an accomplished showman, a very experienced executive with deep knowledge of the business challenges facing exhibition, and the passion to identify and negotiate the opportunities ahead. He knows many of us and many of you in the room, and it's going to be amazing watching him catch up with you all and plan the days, weeks, and years ahead. I look forward to seeing how, Brett, how you develop new strengths and clear pathways for this association that I have been so privileged to lead for the last 11 and a half years, and to have the whole sector and our independent cinema members go from strength to strength. So congratulations, Brett, and welcome. So I also want to, I guess, pause just briefly, because we don't have much time and we're over time. That's my role, conference convener, to say that, you know, it's amazing to be here for one last time, probably, as your conference convener, and to welcome you here and to be here for this show. I want you to be sure to say hello to our new gold partner for 2023, Foodbuy. They are our preferred supplier, as Scott has mentioned, for procurement services, and Tari and Lee from Foodbuy will be joining us in a very interesting panel this afternoon, and as hosts of our gala dinner tomorrow night at the National Wine Centre, which I'm really looking forward to. And of course, they have a table in the foyer if anyone who hasn't, any exhibitor who hasn't yet gone up to speak to Foodbuy, and not just exhibitors in the room, they have many clients. Please, I encourage you to go and talk to them, because they really have the power to make a real difference for your business. Tonight, our old friends and preferred suppliers for cinema programming services are bringing you the perfect venue for drinks and supper. I mean, really, and of course, this year's event right here. Is it not exquisitely beautiful? This cinema is amazing, and the Wallace team have done an amazing job to bring her back up to this incredible standard. So make sure to catch up with David Simpson, Manda Flett and Joel Sprigg from Wallace Cinema Program, who are available to speak with you as well throughout the whole conference. And together with the late and great Bob Parr, OIM, which he never wanted you to say, but he always wanted you to say, and it's so please, I'm thinking of you, Bob. They have provided outstanding support to our sector and are greatly respected by exhibitors and distributors alike for their well-researched, fair and business-minded approach to cinema booking across a vast range of different metro and regional sites. Next, I'm delighted to welcome our silver sponsors, preferred suppliers and long-standing friends, Olga Alcasan from Christie, returning after 7 years away, Adam Wrightson and Bruce Kerr from Hoyt CTG, and Claire Cody and Stuart Pertwain from Vista Group, who all will be sharing their expertise and insights with you during our event and have been great supporters of independent cinemas over many years. I'm also pleased to welcome and thank Lyndon Hunter and Pat Gleeson from Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners, who are joining ICA for the first time this year as a new silver sponsor for ICA Conference. So thank you. We have a record 12 bronze sponsors and 10 distributors this year lined up for a jam-packed and exciting program ahead. And I want to thank all our partners and sponsors for supporting ICA Conference, especially Wallace Cinemas for hosting us today. The Wallace family and team have worked hard to restore this beautiful cinema. And Axel, Anastasia, Alex, Maddie and Ethan are standing by with Peter Puckner up the top of the room, and of course Pauline, Lucy and Keith, who are all there to look after us during this visit. I'm thinking also today of Lorna, who I know would be here if she could be here, but I particularly would like you to join me in congratulating the Wallace family and team on this hosting us here, and invite Deanna Wallace and Chief Operating Officer Ben Huxtable from Wallace Cinemas to open our event. So.
Hello everyone, and on behalf of my family, I'd like to welcome you to Piccadilly today. It's so amazing to see so many faces here and just to come together and unite, because this is an industry like no other. And every time I stand here and speak, I of course have flashbacks to a time back in 2007 and cannot go on without acknowledging my grandfather, the late Bob Wallace, who had so much passion and love for this building, and of course his wife, my nana, my mum, Michelle, my late uncle Darryl. This building is filled with so many stories, not only for our family, but for South Australia and the wider cinema industry. And my mum has asked me to share a very exciting announcement that at another location of ours in Mount Barker, my grandfather is being acknowledged with a mural installation funded by federal government because of bushfire efforts that we did with the Cuddly Creek fires back in 2020. And together with Mount Barker Council, a beautiful 2.5 by 2.5 metre mural of my grandfather will be on the exterior of Mount Barker Cinema to watch over Mount Barker and to acknowledge his true testament and journey and investment in Mount Barker. So that's very exciting to share that with you all, and I hope that in time when you are able to come back to South Australia and to Mount Barker, you'll be able to see that, along with some other references to Mount Barker, the cinema industry as a whole, and the magic of cinema. So that's very, very exciting. And of course, as Adrian mentioned, a lot of work has gone into restoring the old girl here. We of course got the old terrazzo floors that look brand new that we've been able to expose, that was hidden under some carpets. Of course, the new extravagant Art Deco modern bar, and we've exposed some really cool features throughout the building, and I'm very excited for you to be able to see that and to celebrate with our team and to see the magic of Art Deco architecture. And I'm going to stop talking because I'll get in trouble. So over to Deep Benji.
Thanks, Deanna. And also thanks to ICA for your trust and faith allowing us to host this event. Believe me, it is an honour. The staff have been scurrying around here for a week like it's an episode of Downton Abbey. And like any, it hasn't been easy this last week. Like any building of this age, I suppose, there's things that are bound to go wrong. About a week ago, one of the LEDs in the foyer started smoking and smoked out the whole foyer. That was nice. And then a toilet door randomly 2 days ago just fell off its hinges, you know, just for something fun. 2 nights ago, the building was graffitied, of course, just what you want before a convention. And then yesterday, I nearly electrocuted myself changing a light bulb on a really old light fitting. I probably should have read the SOP. As Deanna mentioned, this lovely building's seen a number of transformations since the 1940s, from single screen to being carved up into a triple, from celluloid to digital and everything in between. But for the purpose of speeding these things along, I just want to fast forward to 2019, which is a year none of us will forget, I'm sure. The Wallace family had watched this site and the audience decline over the 10 years leading up to that for obviously many a reason. We tried all manner of functions, promotions, marketing initiatives to keep things afloat. And there were times that this site was losing up to 40 grand a month just on being open. And so when COVID did arrive and things got worse, in June 2021, we made the hard decision to close Piccadilly with a future that was uncertain. And believe it or not, we made less of a loss by having the doors closed. And that's the way it stayed until June last year, when we commenced renovations and finally opened in December, just gone. And as Deanna mentioned, we now have a beautiful Art Deco bar. The terrazzo has been exposed, and some amazing function spaces. And we are starting to see a really good, strong function following here because of the size of the cinemas, because of the size of the foyer, the mezz area, and of course, we can't go past the bar, and I hope you don't go past the bar. In fact, the bar went from pre-2019, a spend per head of maybe we'd crack $5 a head at this site as a normal traditional cinema. And now there have been some months where we've surpassed $10 per head because of that very bar. Incidentally, and this is where I'll close off, the bar down here is actually licensed to midnight. However, I attended the ICA conference last year for the first time, and I'm a fast learner. I learned that midnight was way too early to be closing the bar at the ICA conference, so for the purpose of this conference, we have a license up until 2 a.m. So for those of you who I am yet to meet, for those of you who I know already, I do hope to meet you over the next few days. I hope to introduce some other members of the Wallace team who are here today, as well as the programming team that you know and love so well. Thank you very much once again. Welcome to Adelaide. Welcome to the Piccadilly.